Welcome back everyone. In the last video we completed the Redux store with the initial state that contains the question type and the document name and document description, and also defined some action types, and also we created the reducer function whenever the event will be dispatched. According to that, the action type will be called and that will update the state here. In this video I show you how to dispatch an event from a component. For that, open the question form.js and import use effect from React library, use effect, and here you define inside this use effect function this use effect will takes the function as a parameter, and within that function you define the asynchronous function, that is the data adding, and within that create the request variable and async and axios.get and pass the URL for which you are making the get request, and as a response you will get the data that is request dot data dot questions. Here you see the initial state value, the property name is questions, that holds the array of questions, and the console.log to check that the questions. And one more thing, the document name and document description that will come from the Redux store itself, and also log that, and set the state document, set doc name, set doc description, and set the questions. Here how you define dispatch the event here, that takes the action with the type property and the document name for dispatch, that is the action dot set doc name. When you dispatch this event, the action will be taken here. Set doc name, document name will be updated in the Redux store. Similarly, it changes the document description and the set of questions in the Redux store. Here you call the function that is data adding, and import use state value from state provider and action types from reducer .js, that is the reducer. It has the properties set questions, change type, and set document name and set document description. These will be imported to this file component, and in the below question form function create the constant using the array destructuring syntax. You take the dispatch function here. If you don't know about array destructuring, the link is in the below description. Do watch that thing. You will get to know all the things about array destructuring syntax, and object destructuring also I have explained here. After dispatching these actions, the Redux store will store all the questions and the document name, document description. Now we will design this page where you can view the question paper that you created. Use state and use effect from React library, and the form control label, and the radio button, and also the use history from React router DOM. Use state from the state provider, and also import the Axios to consume the APIs and get the data from, and also get the data from the server. Here I already defined the user form component. It is just simply that adding the input elements and associating the event for that, and I will give this code in the description, and also the user form.css to style those elements that are in the component. I will give both the files in the description. You can download it from there and include that into the components. In this user form component, where the first user title section will have the document name and the document description within the typograph element, and that the class name is given as user title section, and below that you have the questions, and all those questions will be placed under the component user form questions, and the question name will be, and the question will be displayed within the component typograph with the question index and the question text, and below that all the inputs are given to select the correct option there, and all those input buttons will have the event associated with that, that is select check, and one more, the select input and select, and the class name will be form check input, and that and the required is also, required property is also set here, question dot required, and the name of the input element will be question index, and the type will be from the question property, that is question type, and all the input elements are being set to the same properties here. The question option text will be displayed here. Here in the below there is user form submit, where we will have the button that is associated with the event called on click event, and it will call the function that is submit. Before that, here you define few variables, that is one is the use state, where you will collect all the answers from the user, and this is questions document name document description from the reducer or the from the Redux store. This is the post answer, that array that is the empty array. After answering the questions, it will be populated with elements. And here you have in the select input, you have question and the option. This is the question that will hold the question value, and the option is the option text. And every time when it calls the function select input with these two parameters and the state of the component, and in this submit function it pulls out all the objects, that answer object that is collected, and it will be added into the post answer data. And later in the axios.post request, it will send the request to this URL. Still this is not created, we will create this in the next coming video. And the data object will be holding the two values, that is column with the property quest, and the answer data is the post answer data. And after that the page will be redirected to the another page, that is with the URL path submitted. This is the CSS styles for the user component with the class name user, the background color and the height and the padding will be set, and the submit background color is also changed here. And I will provide this CSS file in the description, you can add to your component. Inside this app.js, you import the component use form from use form components, and define that root. The path will be the response, and the element that is only user form. Now open form header.js. There you import use state value from a state provider, and also the use history from React Router DOM. Inside the form header component, you take the document name from the Redux store and also the dispatch action. I think no need of dispatch here. You just make a call to the use state value, and store the use history in the history constant, and also the function navigates history.push, that will redirect it to the another page with the path response. Here in the input, you add the value property with the document name, and add the on click event to this icon button, that is AI outline eye on click, and that calls the function navigates. Saving all the files, open the browser and click on the blank page. Now when you click on the icon button, it will open the user form that will displaying the function that are stored in the Redux. Right now you just go back and click on the save button here below and try to open that. Something there is mistake. You go to the file again, open question form.js. Here you have the commit to DB and you're just posting here, but you have not dispatched the action that to save the question into the Redux store. Here you just define this change the definition of the committed to DB function. Here you dispatch the function that is action types that the set questions, and the question property will hold the all the questions, and also you make the request to the also make the HTTP post request that will save the questions into the file. Now you save the file, open the browser, and it's refreshing. Click on save, open this. Here you just see which is the capital city of Karnataka. Go back and click on add icon. Just add one more question. Here you add the two question, chemical formula of salt, and the question type is multiple choice, and the three options NaCl, it's CH4 and the H2SO4. And click on save, and you just click on I icon. Here you see the two questions that are present in the Redux store, which is the capital city of Karnataka, chemical formula of salt. After clicking the options, that is selecting the options, this is NaCl and Bengaluru. When you click on the submit button, this event that is the submit function will be triggered, where it will make the post request that is having the answer data. Here all the answer data that are collected will be saved into the Excel file, separate Excel file. Now we will define that in the backend node.js file, that is app.js file. Open this app.js. To get the Excel sheets, install npm install ExcelJS. In the beginning of the app.js file, you import the ExcelJS and store in the constant Excel. This is the post API with the path that is a student response and the document ID, and the request body will have the data, and the name of the document is the request.pams.document ID. This is the document ID where you will get, and here you create the instance date. This is not needed, comment this, and create the workbook instance, and the data that you get here from the post request, here request.postBody.answer data in the user form. Here you created the property that is answer data. In the app.js you will use here request.body.answer data, and one more instance that is a worksheet, workbook.add worksheet, and the name will be the document ID, and you create the worksheet columns here. That is the array of object, with the first one holds the property header with the timestamp, and the key for that is the date time. Here you just check in the user and set the column width. If the header length is less than 12, it will set to 12, otherwise the column header dot length, and the worksheet dot get row, and the font will be font, and the font is formatted to bold. Set that bold property to true, and add the data to the worksheet here, and that worksheet will be saved with the file name only. Now you just save the app.js file. Whenever you try to run this in the browser, you will get this error. So open this template.js file and import the Axios and also the use history, and redefine the create form function. With this UUID function calling, you will create the new form ID here, and also the question list with the simple question text question type radio, option with the option value 1, required is false, and the option is set to true. This is the Axios.post requesting. This is how you make the Axios.post request. This is the URL path where you will pass the form ID here with a document name untitled form, description, add description, questions with the question list, and you will be redirecting to the another page. And this will be happen when you click on the on blank event here. This is the card. On clicking this, the create form function will be called. Also change the path of the images, that is within the images folder you check with the. Now you open the browser and click on blank. This creates the new question. Here you can add the question, which is the capital city of Karnataka. Here you see quiz 2021. The quiz is on general knowledge and two questions are displayed here. And select the answer, that is the Bangalore and New Delhi. And click off. After clicking that submit button, you will be redirected to the another page with the path that is submitted. Still that page is not created. I will give that code in the description. You click on submit and open the folder of the directory where you have the backend file. Here you created the quiz 2021. Open that file. This is how you save your answers into the Excel file. After adding some styles, that is by importing the make styles and switches typograph, and you just import the question form, and also that is the, and also two more components, that is tab panel and the tab panel dot prototypes, that is protypes, tab panel dot prop types, array props function, and inside this paper you define the two more panels with the indexes 0 and 1. And after adding all these things, just save there and go to the app.js file, and you just remove this question form and save this. Now you open the browser. Here you see when you click on questions, you will display that question box. When you click on responses, you will get that responses styles or the component. This completes the Google Form clone designing with React.js, and do share with others and subscribe my channel for the next videos. Thank you for watching this series.